You guessed it. Shenanigans ensue. Co-host 1 reports to co-host 2. The name of the show, Shenanigans ensue. Yeah. Hello, I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Jane, and welcome to Shenanigans Ensue, a podcast where it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of good fortune must be in want of a wife.
No offense, Jane, but that sounds like some hetero nonsense.
Because it is.
It absolutely is, but Austin was from a different time. I'm not going to hold it against her.
And also, I think she's critiquing it in the book as well.
Okay.
I don't think she's subscribing to it.
Good. Each episode, we'll watch a rom-com and discuss its merits as a member of the rom-com genre.
We'll cover well-worn classics, hidden gems, and everything in between.
We'll give you our unsolicited opinion on every trope, a caper, and flim-flam the film used or maybe abused.
And of course, the shenanigans!
Shenanigans! Happy Pride Month, everybody!
Yes, happy Pride, everyone!
We're really excited that we could do something special for you, something we wanted to do for a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
And we've saved this episode specifically for this month, and that is...
Fire Island!
What a treat!
Ah.
Some of you may know that we tried to watch this last season.
Goodness, what an ordeal.
We couldn't find it anywhere.
It was impossible.
It wasn't really terribly accessible. Good news is...
Things changed.
Yeah, and what a delight it is to be able to do Fire Island and bring it to you right as we're getting into Fire Island season in Long Island.
Yes. The timing was intentional.
Yes, we are doing this on purpose. I'm really so excited we got to do this one finally. I'd been looking forward to doing either this or Bros for a minute.
Yeah, I'm really glad it worked out. I was so excited to watch this movie, and in my opinion, it lived up to the hype.
It really, really does. And also, how did I not know that this was a reskinning of Pride and Prejudice?
I had no idea. I mean, the clue should have been the opening lines, honestly, but I figured it out a little later than I want to admit. And when I did, I got so excited.
Yeah.
Because then I immediately started piecing the whole plot together, and I had a whole bunch of fun once I figured it out.
Really, truly a delight. What a great idea. What a great idea. It works so well.
So well as a adaptation. It's fantastic.
Yeah, mind blown at how great this works. Okay, so before we get too crazy, we'll give you our super brief synopsis. Best friends Noah and Howie partake in Fire Island festivities with the rest of their friend group.
There they meet best friends Will and Charlie and their very different friend group.
Shenanigans ensue!
By very different, I mean they're kind of assholes. Low-key, just a little.
They are fully elitist, but that's kind of the dichotomy here in New York.
Yes. Oh, I thought you were going to say in Pride and Prejudice, but yes to both.
Yes to both. Why does this work so well?
It's so good.
It's so good.
And
wild.
If you are worried, you don't have to have watched or read Pride and Prejudice in order to enjoy this movie.
No, not at all.
But if you have, it really does increase your enjoyment.
Yeah. What a fun freaking romp.
So delightful in the nuanced bits that they keep bringing back, but then also the overarching story is just really funny, but also really heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I'm just reading the names and the back and forth, and I'm realizing how they literally matched up the names.
Oh, yes. Okay, so let's get into that then. So the characters in the movie, they pay homage to their counterparts in Pride and Prejudice. So for the Bennett family, we have Noah, who is Lizzie Bennett, Howie, who is Jane Bennett. Those two don't match, but then the rest you'll see. So we have Max, who is Mary Bennett, Luke, who is Lydia Bennett, Keegan, who is Kitty Bennett, and then we have Will, who's playing Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, and Charlie, who is Charles Bingley. It's so sweet how they line it up.
I love that attention to detail.
I don't know why they didn't do it for Noah and Howie.
Yeah, I
You
mean...
could have had a James and a Liam or something.
Something.
But I liked the rest of it. It was super fun.
I don't know what I expected. I expected a fun time.
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, I'm gonna be like super upfront. I was like, oh my gosh, this is very Asian forward, and I'm not mad. As half Filipino, I was like, okay, Conrad being Mr. Darcy, thank you.
Yes. He was such a good Mr. Darcy.
He's so great.
But I think going back to what you were thinking through, I was expecting to have fun, but I don't think we were expecting it to be so well considered with like so much attention to detail with small things.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting a fun romp.
Exactly. I'm very impressed all over the place. Obviously, it's going to be good, but like this truly is worth a watch. I would recommend this to everybody.
Oh, definitely.
Incredible tropes.
Ah, yes.
Some of them executed so beautifully in this.
Chills. I read one of them and I got chills because of how good it was done.
So good.
I'm pretty sure you can guess which one.
Oh my god, I know which one. We're going to talk about that at length. Oh, okay.
So first off, as a treat, we have multiple meet cutes.
Multiple.
We get 2. I love both of them so much. And then we have enemies to lovers, a slow burn.
The slowest burn, y'all. A masterclass in the slow burn.
Meddling friends, soundtrack doing the most, overhearing a conversation that you shouldn't have, multiple fake out kisses.
Yes, because of that damn slow burn.
Yes! I was so on the edge. By the end, I was like, I can't take it anymore.
I was like, if you guys don't kiss, I'm gonna lose it.
I can't.
This sexual tension is too much.
It's too intense. And then we have such a delightful dramatic chase.
The most dramatic chase.
Like the most unnecessarily dramatic chase.
Also just like the emotional turmoil
Yes.
Howie needs to have been through for the hours it took on the ferry to get back.
He must be exhausted. And how he's like confusion of like, why is this happening? Felt so real to me. Like, why are you all here? What's going on?
He's not even excited.
No.
Because it's truly so confusing.
To me, that's so relatable. Like, I feel that's how I would react.
Yeah.
Huh?
I feel like so easily the choice could have been swoon.
Yes.
Wow. But it's not that. It's what are you doing?
Confusion.
Oh god, I feel like this is obviously going to be a trope heavy episode because
Yes.
they're so good and they're expertly executed.
Yes.
Okay, so meet cutes, you want to start at the top?
The meet cutes. Noah and Will's meet cute. You actually don't even realize it's one until later.
I love it.
It's so funny and sweet and so appropriate to their characters because Noah's being chat up at the bar by this guy and Noah's like, no, my boyfriend's going to get us sorted with drinks. Right, sweetie? He says to Will, and Will just does not play along. He doesn't get it. It's like, I don't know you.
Like, be chill, dude. Help me. Help me.
Yes. And just like deadpan serious face. Like, pick up on the social cues.
Yeah. Wow. The choices he made, I was like, I don't know how to do deadpan like that. I'm going to just watch this again if I ever need to really consider it. Wow.
And it sets up the enemies to lovers between them really well. I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like it sets the foundation.
100%.
This idiot couldn't even help me out.
This idiot couldn't even help me out. And then Will digs the hole even further for himself when he starts to talk shit in the other room and has no idea that Noah heard everything.
Yeah.
Wild. Like, dude, rude. I mean, ultimately he could have said worse stuff, I guess, but it's just, he's a real prick for no reason.
Yeah. And it's mirroring the scene in Pride and Prejudice where Lizzie overhears Darcy making disparaging comments
Oh,
about
yeah.
the people there and like the pushy mothers. So it's doing that really well, and
Yes.
it's updated and well executed. Oh, our other meet cute.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So Howie and Will also have a meet cute, which brings in the meddling friends. The gang is at, I think it's the first day of low tea.
Yeah.
So they head over there. They're having a good time. They're drinking. They're vibing. They're scoping the room. And then they catch some guy across the bar making eyes at Howie. And everyone insists that he go say hi.
Yes. They clearly like each other. It's
Yeah.
very sweet.
So cute.
And Charlie's like getting ready to leave with his friends, and Howie's friends, being the meddling friends, are like, go talk to him. And they like push him, and Howie falls down the stairs. And like,
Yeah.
that looks painful. He lands on his knees.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that looks really sore. And then one of them's like, oh, we need a doctor. And
I'm
then
a doctor. Of course you are.
and he helps him up, and they're like really close, and it's so cute.
It's so cute. And they just hit it off immediately.
Yes. It's really signaling love at first sight kind of
Yeah.
vibes.
And like, people may or may not know this, but a lot of talk in the community is heavily around alternative lifestyles. And from what I understand, monogamy and feelings towards monogamy are less prevalent than any of the others. And so the idea that these two people who really do want the outlier thing have found each other and the vibes are there. And it's just,
They're very sweet.
I couldn't stop being mad at Noah the whole time because I was like, leave Howie alone. He just wants to be monogamous. Leave him alone.
Because all of this is happening. Noah has made it his mission for the week that he can't hook up with anyone until he like gets his friend laid. Like, this is the premise we're going in with.
Yeah.
So they're scouting out to like find someone for Howie to hook up with, and Howie finds like the love of his life.
Yeah, Howie doesn't want to hook up anyway. Part of it is that Howie's
No.
never hooked up at Fire Island.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not his vibe. Let him be.
Mm-hmm. So cute.
And then, I totally forgot, but I would also argue that their friendship meet cute is also a meet cute.
Remind me?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so their flashback meet cute, which, loved, was the two of them meet because they're both waiting tables.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd forgotten about that.
So they both wait tables at a very popular New York City brunch spot, which, if you know anything about brunch in New York City, can be cutthroat.
Mhm.
So they're working this New York City brunch spot, and a patron says to Howie, "Excuse me, can I get a refill, Jackie Chan?" Which is just
Ugh,
like
yikes.
the way I want to kill somebody. So the two of them both stop, looks of disgust, and somehow find each other's eyes, and they're like, you get it, all unspoken. And I don't remember what Howie does, but Noah spits in the water.
Yes.
I'm crying.
Their friendship is very cute. Like, they have the little matching necklaces as well.
Yes. They do their cute little friendship thing, which is they just touch index fingers.
Yeah.
They just like boop. Love. Incredible meet cutes, right?
So good. And I really do like that the one is a little more antagonistic and the other one's super sweet. So we also
Yeah.
have that balance.
Yeah. Perfect.
Love the meet cutes.
I wrote this over and over and over again that yes, the characters are perhaps like leaning into their tropes, which they're supposed to for a rom-com, but
Mm-hmm.
they're also extremely well defined, in my opinion. I feel like I
Yes.
know each of them very well.
They're quite nuanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each of the characters in a big friend group, not everybody vibes exactly the same way. There are little best friends in the
Mm.
friend group, and you can see them playing out.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see the reality of something like that.
Mm. Yeah, the little pairings within the friend group. And sometimes friend groups that are so large, there's some people that very seldomly go together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They vibe as a unit, but not necessarily one-on-one. So it's very interesting to see that play out.
Their vibes are different. I may be mixing it up, but I think Luke and Max are very, very tight. And like,
It's
is that the right way?
Luke and Keegan.
Luke and Keegan.
Because they're Lydia and Kitty. Yeah, Max is the quiet one
Okay, thank you.
who like disappears a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no worries.
So Luke and Keegan are really, really tight. You can see them being goofballs together. And then you've got Max, who's a little quieter, probably more close to Aaron, disappears a little bit, reads his books. But like everybody's so sweet.
Yeah.
I know exactly who these people are.
Yes.
I love it. And the meddling is really so good. And they meddle within the realm of their personalities in a fun way.
They do. It's so messy.
So messy.
It's hella messy.
Oh,
but it feels true to form.
And honestly, based on the stories that I've gotten from my friends who've spent time in Fire Island, like it is that messy.
I believe it. I really believe it. I was going to say, especially because it's their tradition that as a friend group, they do Fire Island together every year. It checks out that they'd be this messy and so involved in each other's lives.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I guess we have to touch at least a little bit on soundtrack doing the most. Do you have a favorite song that did the most?
I mean, where did it begin? What to say?
I have a full favorite.
Okay, what's your full favorite?
My full favorite was like towards the beginning and they get there and things are about to get started and they played the Willy Wonka remix.
That was the one I was gonna talk about! Get out of my brain!
It's so good!
Stop it!
Stop it!
It's
That's so funny.
Especially because it's like they're all on the ferry ride. They've sort of established the different groups and everything, and you're approaching Fire Island.
And then dun dun.
Yeah. Come with me. And you'll see.
It's just the lead up into it. I was like,
yes.
Stop it with the xylophone or whatever's at the beginning. Like, immediately.
It's so good. I guess the other parts of the soundtrack doing the most is how they've sort of interspersed current music and some club music with these beautiful classical songs that play throughout, especially when we're in nature and the walking scenes, which I know is, again, paying tribute to its roots of Pride and Prejudice, but it somehow works. Like, it lends itself to how removed the island is from everything and it's all contained, and Noah already speaks about how time stretches out here. It feels really long, so that's adding to that mood and feeling.
Yeah, and that's very Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah,
that's such a good point I hadn't even considered. A thing that you do in the time period would be to take long walks to get to know people or just fill the endless time you have.
Yes.
And the amount of times we've got a really sweet walk on the beach, we've got a walk home from the club. So many different little ways that they've woven in the story, but like really taken care with like time and how it feels in different places. Okay, so like we've been waiting.
Slowly.
But I really want to talk about the fake out kisses and slow burn. We've been pacing ourselves.
Stretching it out, letting it build. This slow burn. My goodness.
What a slow burn.
It's executed so well. Like when you finally see Will crack a smile, my whole heart melted.
Oh my god, yes.
He made us wait for that smile.
I honestly would have to search far and wide to find a better slow burn.
So beautifully done.
And like part of the slow burn being so satisfying is that, 3 times they almost kiss?
Yeah.
And just somebody interrupts them in the most irritating fashion.
And I think adding to these fake out kisses is one of the times they don't even really want to be wanting to kiss.
Right.
So it's not like they're interrupted. They almost like interrupt themselves because they're like, what are we doing? What am I doing? I don't like you.
I know. I think they even have a voiceover and Noah's like, why am I so attracted to him right now? Just fully, what is happening? I hate this guy.
The slow burn is so beautifully done because I feel like we see them not understand each other, and then Will added a lot of fuel to that fire of them not understanding each other, and then we slowly see how they get to know each other, and then they realize that they might actually really like each other.
Yeah.
And then we have Noah especially fighting against wanting the intimacy of a relationship, even right at the end.
Yeah.
When Will asks Noah to dance, and Noah's like, and then what? He starts freaking out. Where do we go from here? And where will we be in 10 years? And her, like having a lot of anxiety about it. And Will's just like, it's just a dance and then we'll take it from there. And I thought that was really sweet too.
Yeah, I also really appreciate the idea of exploring all of these alternative lifestyles in one film.
Mhm.
I like the idea that we have a monogamous couple. I love the idea that we have two people who seemingly are going to do poly or maybe like ethical non-monogamy.
Mm-hmm.
These are okay. Like, these
Yeah.
are perfectly fine options. And they're just having these discussions. They literally sit on that pier and talk about the fact that they don't think monogamy's for them.
Yeah.
But we still want to see each other, which is great.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
I love a grown-up conversation.
Yeah. So cute.
And like other conversations, when they have private, quiet moments together, the walk on the beach was so fun because they spent so much time in the early part of the film getting to know Conrad's character in a poor light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joel's character has created all of these preconceived notions that are all very reasonable conclusions to come to.
Yeah.
We figure out he's a lawyer. We make a bunch of assumptions about lawyers. We hear him say shitty things.
Mm-hmm.
We make a bunch of assumptions about the quality of person he is. We see that he's one Asian in an all-white friend group. We make assumptions about him being the token Asian. We make all of these assumptions all along the way, and then when they're
Mhm.
having their quiet walk along the beach, you find out the kind of lawyer he is. At
Yeah.
some point, I think he says something to the effect of, it's not all that sexy. I'm not a big-time lawyer. I work in tenants' rights, like mostly keeping people from getting evicted and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, that is super sexy. Stop. You know?
Yeah. It's not your stereotype.
Right? You're not here for the cash.
No.
You're making cash. Great. I love that. You should. But you're not like doing it for that. You're trying to help people.
This is such a good slow burn.
Yeah, the relationship building is really beautiful. And even the character development is really beautiful.
Yeah.
We know what kind of person Noah is throughout because we're
Yes.
getting his narration throughout.
But we don't get that same insight into Will.
Right. And it's nice. It's nice to get to know him the
Mm.
same way. We're getting to know him in real time with Noah.
Yes, exactly. I have one more trope that I want to discuss before we move on.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of combo between the grand romantic speech and the dramatic chase.
Yeah.
Where Howie's friends encourage Charlie to go all out. It's like, you have to do something big. You have to do something stupid. So they commandeer a ferry.
They could have rented one.
Yes.
But they took one.
They stole one. Temporarily borrowed.
And when I tell you, Fire Island is not a convenient, close to the city location. This is like a 2-hour ferry ride.
Oh my word, really?
I mean, this is an estimation. I've not taken the ferry, but I do know if you're in the financial district, it takes an hour to get to Rockaway Beach, which is only halfway to Fire Island.
So it's long.
Yeah.
So he had plenty of time to prep what he was going to say to Howie, but this is all happening very last minute.
And it's also just like this dramatic chase happened over the course of 2 hours in the ocean.
It's not expedited at all.
They're just sitting on a boat for 2 hours together, continuing to commandeer it.
They're just like betting that he'd still be there. That's so funny. And they're like, do something big, do something stupid. And Charlie's like, don't go. And he's like, I love you. And
No,
everyone's like,
too
whoa,
much,
whoa,
whoa.
whoa, too big, too stupid. Dial it back.
Right, and he's like, okay, yeah, but I could. I love when people say I love you in the other films and the timeline is 48 hours. We're like, no,
Yeah.
no. So I'm really glad they're like, this has been 1 week. That's too soon.
Be for real.
He was living in the moment.
Yeah, and he was just doing as he was bid, and that was on his mind when they said do something big. And that's like, I love you is big.
They both had been sitting in their feels
Yes.
for hours. Like, whatever, dude, I get it. We're exhausted.
So funny.
Crying.
It's such a good dramatic chase.
Really, honestly.
I mean, most of the time the chases are unnecessary because, like, you could call him. All his friends are there. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
They're going to the same place. But I mean, the unnecessary is why we love it. You don't need it, but you need it.
Yes.
It's so good.
It really is. Like we mentioned earlier, their reactions during everything, everyone's reactions, the people on the boat even, strangers walking by. Like I could see some stupid half-baked cockamamie plan where your friends literally do chase your other friend on the next ferry and like how dumb that is. And so they played up how uncomfortable and weird this was. Like this is...
I can't get the image of Howie's confused face out of my head because it's so funny.
It's so beautiful.
You stole a ferry.
Yeah, with the context of you chased me in another boat. What have you done?
And didn't you get back together with your ex?
Right.
Like, what's happening?
And then it all makes sense why Howie's so confused. Love.
So that's it for me in tropes. Is there something else you wanted to touch upon?
No, I mean, we had to hit them all, and we have, because they're so good. Okay, shenanigans. This movie is just full of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Right out the gate. While they're on the ferry trying to arrive, they lean in. They are not afraid to talk about some of the more difficult aspects of the community. And I really appreciate that. Like, there's a phrase that's used often in the community about the kinds of people, and I do mean that in the gross way, the kinds of people that they want to find on apps like Grindr, and they say it on the boat. They're leaning in. And the fact that we're sitting in a group that has a larger guy, that has a total queen, that has folks that are not as in shape as you're, quote, supposed to be, and Asians, we have literally the ragamuffin gang.
Yeah.
What would be considered the ragamuffin gang of the community. I highly appreciate having the conversation. I highly appreciate featuring them as beautiful, complicated, loving souls that I want to be friends with. Honestly, like that makes me so happy. And it made it so easy to be friends with all of the misfits. I love weirdos. I'm drawn to weirdos. I am a weirdo, and I want to be friends with this whole friend group.
It would be so much fun to be friends with that friend group.
Right?
And it is really interesting how they address what social currency is in the community specifically.
God, the social currency.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Of like having money, being white, being good looking.
The ways.
All of these things.
Like, that's why they drag Will a little bit, because being the token minority in this rich white friend group, it could say something about a person's character. It doesn't necessarily, but he's choosing to associate with this group of people, most of whom are trash people, right? Like, we end up not liking almost any of them. And I, like, specifically wrote down one, too. The one who keeps being like, hi, can I help you at the house? Because he keeps forgetting who Noah is. Yeah. The entire time, I was like, why are you always oiled up? Why are you still so shiny? Too much baby oil. I'm crying. He was always oiled up. So, like, we get to see the dichotomy. We see them at their friend's house, which is a little, like, run down, but still so charming. And then we see the insane ultra-modern.
It's a huge plot point that they don't have a hot tub.
Right? Like, the oily one ends up coming to the house for dinner.
Yes, randomly.
And he says, I thought everyone's house had a hot tub. That's the primary character trait. Like, rude.
I think he's also the one that says a really great quote, which is when he happens upon Noah reading, and he's like, what kind of gay man goes on vacation to do homework?
And then that's another moment where Will realizes they have a lot in common because Will's familiar with the author.
Yeah, and they have a nice little chat about it.
No one's just like, I don't know, the educated ones do homework, I guess.
Yes.
So good. I'm really happy that they touched on some of that stuff. And then they weren't afraid towards the end to touch on consent.
Yeah.
They really hit a bunch of stuff in this film. We find out that the equivalent of Mr. Wickham takes advantage of people.
Who was also done so well.
So well. So charming, and then turning into such a monster. The lack of consent for creating content for their OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Just devastating one of the friends in the friends group, embarrassing them publicly, and then the lawyer and the hype guy going over and ripping him a new one.
Which is very funny because when Will finds out what the Mr. Wickham character has done, he's like, I'm gonna kill him. And Noah's like, no, you can't say that. That's what I said. And they're going off together.
Yeah.
and they keep pushing him in the pool, and the Mr. Wickham character tries to get out, and one of them's like, no, you don't get to be dry. You don't deserve to be dry.
And then I love at the end of it, he's like, can I have my phone back? Because he deleted the content. And so Noah takes it and throws it in the pool. And Will turns to Noah and says, you know, they make those waterproof now, right? And he's like, shh, my moment. I love this.
One of the shenanigans I want to talk about, which is recurring and has absolutely no bearing on the plot whatsoever, but I still found really funny, is this running gag of Will getting nervous or something and just like chucking her ice cream away. Like, he throws so many ice cream cones and running. I think Noah calls him out the second time. He's like, hey, weirdo, you forgot your ice cream.
Why did you run when you made eye contact? That's so weird.
Did he get super nervous around Noah? Does he not want to be seen being gentle by eating an ice cream? Like, what's going on?
I know, and part of me was like, okay, is this like a social thing? Like, everyone here has to be fit, so you can't be seen eating an ice cream? Like, I don't know what's happening.
But it happens multiple times.
He's out there trying to have his secret ice creams, and everyone keeps bothering him.
Chuck and run with the ice cream. It's so funny to me.
Please, somebody buy Will an ice cream. He keeps losing his.
It's a big choice to throw it. It's okay. And no explanation is ever given. It's never addressed.
No.
I love it so much.
I love it. Part of me, I'm curious if they like had him eating an ice cream or if he just like had an ice cream. And like, I wonder how many takes were with the ice cream running away. And if he just did that as a throwaway, literally, on the last takes. I think about these things. It's so funny. So another thing that I found really fun and part of like character development, maybe we can talk about some of the character development shenanigans.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like you already get to know the friend group a little bit, and then you really get to know what the friend groups are like when everyone's down at the pier to watch the sunset.
Yes.
And they start to try to counter down.
That was so funny. Not joining in.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to get to naught by the time the sun actually sets. So they're like, you know.
Right. And so it starts at 10.
It starts at 10, you're right.
And so they start at 10. Like, by the time they get down to 5, they're like, 5. 4.9.
Yeah.
It's like, we're almost there. And then they get like down to 4.9.
No, 0.9.
And they're like, oh, wait, we're almost there. So they're like 3, 2, 1.9.
It was so unhinged.
So unhinged. It went on for 30 seconds. And then when they finally get down to the bottom, they all cheer. And one of them is like, that was way better than last year.
And Will and Charlie's friend group is just like, what is happening? Who are these people?
It's just so funny. You get to see them having fun and being goofballs together, and you see all of the other friends, except for Charlie, just be completely irritated with them.
Charlie finds it so whimsical and interesting.
I love that about Charlie.
Yes. He is such a good Mr. Bingley. Just that golden retriever energy. It's just like, always so happy and caring. A little bit like not all there.
Isn't it revealed that he's a pediatric doctor too?
Yes, I think so.
That's so sweet.
It just checks out.
He works in peds. Of course he's a golden retriever. Oh.
The shenanigan that I feel we must address is Howie singing Britney Spears' Sometimes as a ballad, even though he really doesn't want to, and is bullied into it by his other friends because they're like, it's tradition, you have to. And Howie's little heart is so broken.
And Luke and Keegan are dancing behind.
Yes. They're the backup dancers.
And I'm not talking like step snaps. I'm talking full dance. Like
full on choreo.
Going in.
Why didn't they just do it?
Like they've practiced this. They do this every year.
Yes, they do. It's tradition. That's why Howie couldn't pull out even though he's heartbroken because Charlie's just gotten back together with his ex.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And is it Keegan always has heels on anyway? So it's like, go, work.
And they do this so on the nose, but I was giddy because it was so delightful and heartbreaking because Howie is all forlorn and they've made it into a ballad and he's singing the lyrics Sometimes I run, sometimes I hide, sometimes I'm scared of you, but all I really want is to hold you tight,
Yes.
treat you right, be with you day and night. And he looks at Charlie and you can see Charlie's heart is breaking.
Eye
And it's
contact.
just so over the top. It's delightful.
It is so gratuitous.
Yes.
And I loved it.
The angst. Oh my goodness, the angst.
An angst not seen since high school. It's so delicious.
To like circa 90s or early 2000s Britney Spears. Like, it's all very appropriate.
I love it. Howie is so moody.
I just want to give him a hug.
I know. The amount of times I kept writing, like, leave Howie alone. Howie's looking for connection. I wrote, Howie just wants to be monogamous. Like, poor Howie.
Howie and Charlie should have met at some, like, I don't know, wine pairing and book club event.
Yes.
Something really gentle.
But their friends are so extra that they're meeting at low tea. Oh, I wanted to talk about some of the shenanigans around the underwear party.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, just to start her off, the underwear party begins with a pill roulette.
Oh my word. I had that down as well. That was so messy. All of them chucking whatever pills they have on them in this pile to see like how they can get the best high for the evening.
And everyone picks one or two. I don't know what these are. It was like one of them has MDMA, one of them has K.
The mixing of stuff.
Molly.
Has any of the stuff expired?
Who knows?
It's already a messy start.
It's such a messy start.
Which I guess makes sense because the evening just devolves pretty rapidly.
Yeah, and they get to this party, and at the time, it appears that Noah's gonna hook up with Dex.
Yeah.
And they find each other at the club. I think they started dancing there. I don't remember. But like instead, he goes to the bathroom and he runs into Will. And then the oily one gets really jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this whole messy shenanigan. Somehow, we've lost Howie.
Yeah.
Poor Howie. It's high, and nobody knows where he is. Eventually, after this big messy fight, and Will telling Noah Dex is dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and the oily one yells at Noah for getting too close to the one that he wants to hook up with. Blah, blah, blah. Mess. Then we finally find poor Howie outside.
Oh, he just needs a fluffy blanket.
Just a fluffy blanket. He's so out of it. Honey Baby got the best one of the mix.
Oh.
Howie's got himself high on Molly. And so he's having a lovely time despite
His heartbreak.
Yeah. He feels incredible. It's so funny.
Poor Howie. And he's like, floor is the new chair now.
Yeah.
Join me, Noah. Like, Howie.
And throughout this part with Noah trying to find his friends and getting lost in the underwear party, I wrote down we've got the super high soft focus montage. Super high soft focus montage.
Super high soft focus montage. So ridiculous.
They're so high, every one of them.
They went into soft focus because they're so high.
Yeah, they can't see straight, so neither can we. So that's one of my favorite things. Do you have anything else you wanted to pop in?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay,
I got in like my major ones.
I wanted to do one last little shout out just because this is Fire Island, which is predominantly a gay male scene. I do want to give a quick shout out to Margaret Cho and her portrayal of Erin, the friend that they have.
So lovely.
We don't know how old she is. She's mysterious. She had a whole life before she met this young friend group. And now she's mother hen to all of them.
Yes.
When I tell you that she rips them a new one when she finds out that they're about to have a dinner party, not because she doesn't want to throw a dinner party for a bunch of strangers. No, she loves to do that. She's furious that she must prepare in nary enough time. And so she sends them all to get groceries. I was living. I was like, this is the person I am. I'm going to just continue to grow into this woman. Oh, yes. I need more time to prepare a proper dinner party.
She's like, groceries are so expensive. She's like, find anything that's expired, on the verge of expiration, damaged, unlabeled, like anything.
Just make it work. And she throws it together. She does. I'm so proud of her.
Yes. Beautiful dinner party. Oh, and then the dinner party devolves into a game night, which leads to a lot of fighting. And then Howie and Noah have a bit of a fight because Noah's like, Howie, why haven't you hooked up with Will yet? He's like, I gave you 27 minutes of uninterrupted access to our room. And Howie's like, that's not even enough time to build a puzzle. I don't understand this fight at all. It was very specific and funny.
Oh my gosh. And that reminds me, so before we move on to the next section, we should go over some of our favorite quotes because golly, the quotes in this.
So many.
Okay, do you want to just like take turns spitfiring a few of them?
Yeah.
Early on, I've got, who cares what straight people think? We're not going to see one for like a week.
I have, for someone who likes to read, you sure have a narrow vocabulary, which is obviously from Will to Noah.
I also have another great one. This was an aside. It was off-screen chatter.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in the house yells, can I trade someone a Crest White strip for a prep pill? And someone yells, I got you.
This is also sort of a throwaway one. I can't remember which of the duo between Luke and Keegan disappear, but the other one says, I swear if something happens to him, we were making a podcast.
I wrote that down too.
Yes, that's the main concern. You guys are making a podcast. Not that your friend may be injured or dead.
Oh, right. And so the final one that I wrote down that I wanted to mention was when they finally rip Dex a new one and throw the phone in the pool. Noah says, you legally blonded him. And Will says, what's that? And Noah freaks out, which is the appropriate response.
Yes.
What? You haven't watched Legally Blonde? Mm.
And you a lawyer? Like, what? How? This? No.
Absolutely not. Unacceptable.
And then this kind of ties into the grand romantic gesture and the dramatic chase where they're encouraging Charlie and they were like, go do one of those stupid chases like they do in a pre-9/11 rom-com movie. Just a bit of self-awareness.
Love. Yep. Because you can't go through the airport anymore.
Nope.
So yeah, those are just a few tiny little highlights of what is such a great movie, and we'll tell you how great with our rating and Fun Fab Fail.
Any guesses? I wonder.
I don't know. Well, obviously we think this is a fab, right?
Yes.
You're on the same page as me.
Yes, this is a fab. It's so good.
It's so corny. It's so cheesy.
Yes.
Every character is way too much, which is the right amount.
Mm-hmm. And I think when we speak about movies that are fab, what really tips them over the edge of being a fab oftentimes is the entire cast being on the same page.
Yeah.
In terms of the camp, the cheesiness, the heightened energy. You need the whole cast to be on board for it to work.
And it really does give you the laugh a minute that I find necessary for a rom-com while still being just the ooey gooeyest in so many moments.
Yes.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's lovely. It really activates the cute aggression because of how sweet it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's also quite like raucous and fun, like zany.
Yeah.
Over the top. Ridiculous, but so heartwarming and also beautiful. And I think that's helped by the fact that we're following the story of two couples.
Yeah.
So we can really play with just the sweetness. They have some zaniness as well, but they're mostly sweet, Howie and Charlie. And then we have the fun enemies to lovers with Will and Noah.
And then we also get to explore how a rom-com plays out with two very different types of couples while in the same film.
Which is so nice.
Yeah.
Like, see, love is multi-dimensional. It can exist in many ways.
And despite all of that, we have a very clear main character. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
We have only one person who's narrating their internal thoughts to us.
Yes.
But still, I know so much about everyone else as well.
Mm-hmm. It's such a good movie. Highly recommend.
Highly, highly recommend. It's not just a good LGBTQIA movie. It's also a really excellent BIPOC movie and a really excellent rom-com.
Definitely. And a really great adaptation of Jane Austen, because not all of them are great.
Yeah. I can't say enough great things about this movie accomplishing exactly what it set out to accomplish.
So it's another fab.
Yeah, this seems like a season of fabs.
Yeah,
I feel like there's already been a good number.
I think so.
Well, it's what 'tis.
'Tis what it is.
And that brings us to...
Our favorite section.
Ah! Give me the cheese, please.
I mean, this movie was already giving so much cheese.
So much.
And now we just want more, because we're greedy.
Yeah,
Okay, you go first. I know you were dying to go, so you go.
Well, I just, before we do the countdown...
Oh, right, we still have to do 3, 2, 1. You just started laughing, and I
No,
was like...
I would like to preface it.
Yes, sorry. I was jumping the gun.
Please don't hate me.
Now you're making me nervous.
No, I'm not following any of the rules this week, and I just need everyone to hear me out.
Oh, but that's fine.
Okay, great. It's our show. I can break all the rules.
Yes, we make up the rules. It's fine.
You'll appreciate the spirit of it. So, here we go.
Okay.
3,
2, 1. Bath
vodka
soft
soda.
cheese. Okay, I take it back. I think I'm going to go first, and then you can explain your non-cheese vodka soda. Because now I feel like you did when I was like a margarita, and you were like a margarita with chili flakes, but it was a margarita pizza. Okay, let me quickly get my bath soft cheese out of the way. So, a bath soft cheese is paying homage to Bath, because that's where it was made. And
Ooh.
I picked this cheese because of the Jane Austen connection. I think she spent some time in Bath, or in like some small English countryside village, or she went to Bath and she hated it there. I can't remember. Either way. And it is a brie.
Oh, I almost picked a brie.
Yeah? Oh, goodness.
I almost did. If I actually did a cheese, it would have been a brie.
So it's a brie, which is very recognizable and very traditional. Very many people are familiar with the story of Pride and Prejudice. It's a staple in our culture. But this is doing something a little bit different with it. And this movie does do something very different with the Pride and Prejudice classic, but it's still very satisfying as an adaptation while being its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the flavors of this cheese are earthy, mushroomy, and citrusy, which that I'm thinking of like how much in nature we are kind of in Fire Island as well. We spend a lot of time in the woods and with the ocean, and it feels very enveloped in nature. So yeah, that's my bath soft cheese, but never mind that. Tell me about this.
Okay, so I picked a vodka soda because I was rolling through the options in my brain and I truly couldn't find a cheese that I felt was appropriate. I did tinker with brie in my head. I also tinkered with the idea of doing a Cobb salad because there's blue cheese sprinkles, but just a little bit.
I was playing with the blue cheese as well.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do that because I don't necessarily think that it's like tangy as much as just fun. So like I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then at the end of it, I was like, you know what? This was a group of gays who have gone to Fire Island. This is just a week of debauchery. Everyone knows what this is. And, like, we're doing very little eating, to be honest. Even at the dinner party, nobody, like, ate anything at the table, really.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there because they got invited. I know these folks in real life, and I'm telling you, they are watching their carbs, and so therefore this movie is a vodka soda.
The drink with the least amount of calories.
Correct. I know all of my friends will approve.
Although 2 of them do steal... Did they steal a brie? 2 of them did steal cheese and ate it in the pool or the hot tub when they went to the bougie people's homes.
But that's what I mean.
They stole the cheese.
They haven't eaten all day. And so that poor guy, he's like, party's over, and he's crying, and he's like, I threw up. And we're like, I know, bud. Because they're having too many vodka sodas on an empty stomach.
Oh my goodness.
So there it is. Whoop, there it is.
They're not really eating cheese.
No, it's not a cheese. it felt more appropriate. Oh boy. Okay, thank you for humoring me. I'm sorry I broke all the rules.
Oh, yeah, the rules that we created. How dare you break your own rules? How will we ever survive? We've never not had a non-cheese before.
Right, I did the empty cheese board last season, so
I've fully done a glass of red wine, I think.
perfect. It was worth it. I stand by it.
No, it's good. It makes all the sense. You defended your thesis appropriately, in my opinion.
I do love a good thesis defend.
Well, there you have it.
That was our Pride Month discussion of Fire Island.
Let us know your thoughts on the movie, any shenanigans we may have missed, or what cheese you think it is.
Or non-cheese alcoholic beverage you think it is.
You can follow us on Instagram at shenanigansensuepod, or you can email us at shenanigansensuepod@gmail.com.
We hope you'll join us next time. And until then, all I want is for you to be happy. Always.
Bye. I realized we really do sing a lot on this podcast, which is why I didn't sing the quotes of the Sometimes song. And I felt it hit more if I said it with meaning as opposed to singing it.
I love that. It's so much funnier.